ஓமாம் அது பிரச்சனையே இல்லை. உங்களுக்கு வெள்ளிக்கிழமை சரி வருமா? அப்படின்டா 5 மணிக்கு சந்திப்பேன். That's no problem at all. Is Wednesday okay for you? Perfect. So I'll see you at 5 o'clock then. அது ஒரு ப்ராப்ளமும் இல்லை. Wednesday okay உங்களுக்கு? and நாங்கள் 5 o'clock evening சந்திப்பேன்.
Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
In that last video where I code switched, did you listen out for those English words which I was using whilst speaking Tamil? That's exactly what code switching is. It's flicking between two languages whilst communicating with someone. அது ஒரு ப்ராப்ளமும் இல்லை. Wednesday okay உங்களுக்கு? Wednesday okay உங்களுக்கு? and நாங்கள் 5 o'clock evening சந்திப்பேன். and நாங்கள் 5 o'clock evening சந்திப்பேன். எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். என்னுடைய பேர் அன்பு. In this video, I'm going to be speaking to you guys about what code switching is. Throughout this video, I'm going to be code switching a lot. நான் வந்து தமிழையும் கதைக்க போறேன். I'm also going to be speaking in English. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a demonstration as to what code switching sounds like in real life. என்னுடைய தாய்மொழி வந்து தமிழ். நான் லண்டனில் தான் பிறந்து வளர்ந்தேன். நான் இங்கிலீஷும் கதைப்பேன். நான் என்ன கவனிச்சுக்கிறேன்டா, when people are bilingual or multilingual, they're often switching between languages when they feel like it. And in this video, I really want to talk about how code switching links into the theme of identity and whether it's a good thing that we're switching between languages like that. ஒரு ஆள் code switch பண்ணிக்க அதுக்கு கணக்கு காரணங்கள் இருக்கும். அவைக்கு சில நேரம் ability இல்லாமல் இருக்கும். For example, I've just used the word ability in that sentence. அவைக்கு ability இல்லாமல் இருக்கும். But I can't remember what the word for ability is in Tamil. அவைக்கு அந்த ability என்ன தமிழ்? So this is exactly the difficulty that I have as a bilingual person navigating my life in London. It's like, or navigating my life in this Tamil community it's really frustrating when you forget a particular word and it disrupts communication. It puts an end to your flow. So நீங்கள் வந்து கதைச்சு கொண்டு போய்க்க திடீரென்று ஒரு வார்த்தை மறந்துட்டீங்கன்னா அந்த இங்கிலீஷ் வார்த்தை தான் நீங்கள் டக்குண்டு உள்ளுக்குள்ள போடுவீங்க அந்த சென்டென்ஸுக்குள்ள. சென்டென்ஸுக்கு எனக்கு தமிழ் தெரியா, சென்டென்ஸ் அந்த சென்டென்ஸுக்குள்ள நீங்கள் உள்ளுக்குள்ள போடுவீங்க. As in, what I'm trying to say is you put it in that sentence, but I've literally forgotten what the word for sentence is. Sentence. You just have to substitute particular words in your sentence because learning vocabulary is difficult and it's just natural to keep the conversation flowing and to keep the speed up as well. The second reason for code switching is when there's a physical lack of one or more words in either language. And if you want to express yourself in a particular way, you might not be able to do that in English. And another language might offer you the ability to do that. ஒரு உதாரணத்துக்கு எடுத்தா எந்த பேர் வந்து அன்பு. அன்பு வந்து இங்கிலீஷில் சொன்னா love, okay? தமிழில் வந்து கணக்கான வேர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு லவ்வுக்கு. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு அன்பு இருக்கு, காதல் இருக்கு. And in English, we can use the word love in a lot of different situations. We can love our partners. We can love our mother, our father, our siblings. We can love our friends. But in Tamil, you can't use the word for love with your partner to describe the love that you have with your mother. So, Anpu is not the kind of love between relationships. It's the kind of love that you would use for family. And there's another word for love in Tamil, which is pasam, right? We have a lot of different words for love, but in English it's just one. And so in order to better express yourself, you're going to code switch if you feel like one language fits better than the other. And that's the crazy thing about language. It's that when you only know one language, you don't realize just how much that language is lacking in a particular thing. But when you're bilingual and you can think in two different languages, it's like, but I wouldn't quite express myself in that way in English, but I can express myself so much better in that language. And so I'm only bilingual. I can't even imagine what's going through the mind of a multilingual person. It's just mind-blowing. So I was doing some academic research online, and there's a lot of journal articles speaking about code switching. And the third theme which was expressed was it's kind of like to attract attention. If a person wants to show off in front of their friends, அவைக்கு கொஞ்சம் இடுப்ஸா இருந்தா அவை வந்து தமிழில் கதைப்பினான். அவை கொஞ்சம் இங்கிலீஷ் வார்த்தையிலும் கொஞ்சம் விடுவினான். நான் இங்கிலீஷ் கதைப்பேன். என்ன பாருங்க, நான் வந்து யூனிவர்சிட்டியில் படிச்சினான். So I studied in university and நான் வந்து ஜெஃப்னால படித்தேன் நான் மெடிசின் ஐ ஸ்டடிட் மெடிசின் அண்ட் நீங்கள் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க அந்த ஆக்ஸ்ஃபோர்ட் யூனிவர்சிட்டின்னு சொல்லி ஓமோம் that is where I studied and now I live in South London in Dulwich. Yes, you must have heard of it, Dulwich. Yes, I live in அங்கே தான் இருக்கிறேன் நான். That can be quite alienating, right? That was my little reenactment of like some Tamil people that I've spoken to. It's like, yeah, we get it that you can speak English. There's no need to like rub that in our faces and like வேணுமெண்டு இங்கிலீஷ்ல கதைக்கணும்னு அப்படியே தெரியும். அது ஒரு authentic-ஆ இருக்காது. You're not doing it for any linguistic reasons. You're not doing it to express yourself in a particular way. You're doing it because you want to show off. Please comment in the comment section below if you've kind of had that experience with people in your community. When someone speaks another language, it just doesn't feel authentic. You can just sense the fact that they're doing it because one, they might be arrogant, or two, they're doing it to kind of elevate themselves, and it's just not very nice to see, especially when, for example, another person in your community might not be as fluent in English. They will clearly use particular words in English just to throw you off, and then putting you in the uncomfortable situation to be like, sorry எனக்கு விளங்கல என்ன சொல்றீங்க, or like ஒரு situationல ஒரு வார்த்தையை லேர்ன் பண்ணியிருப்பினா அந்த வார்த்தையை அவைக்கு தெரியும் என்று காட்டுறதுக்கு அது வேணுமென்று அந்த conversationல போடுவோம் அந்த வார்த்தையை. It's just a bit childish. Fourth reason why people code switch is because emotions affect it too. When you're angry, you might express yourself in a particular way, or when you are calm, you might not code switch as much. So when you're angry, you might get a little bit flustered, or you let your emotions get in the way, and then you kind of just like lose control when you just switch between two languages. I've seen my friends do that as well. But reason number 5 is what I want to investigate a little bit further. Are we code switching to hide our identities? I want you to think about this particular question throughout this video. Is code switching the culprit of the loss of an individual's identity? In the words of Thomas and Waring 2000, I just want to read out what I've read in their article. And it says, in other words, our concept of who we are can be derived through our similarities with others, our differences from others, and through symbols that are representative of who we think we are. Language use is one way of marking these similarities, differences, and representation. One of the most fundamental ways of establishing our identity is through our use of language. Therefore, language choice and code switching are seen as expressions of identity. I think that encapsulates the theme of this video perfectly. Code switching really just link into identity, and so I wanted to investigate whether it's a good or bad thing. And when I went to research, I realised there are some positive reasons for why one would code switch. One reason is that in schools, in order to kind of teach in a more effective way, code switching can provide an excellent solution for that. To reinforce a point in the classroom, for concept clarification, and studies have shown that it really enhances the student-teacher relationship in a lot of countries across the world. ஆனால் இப்படியும் வாதாடலாம். நீங்கள் வந்து code switch பண்ணினீங்களா, this has a negative impact on linguistic learning ability. Code switching is actually a barrier to learning. And another disadvantage of code switching, one loses their identity when they code switch. I came across this article and I wanted to kind of share it with you because it really got me thinking, and the person expressed it in a really good way, so I just wanted to read it out word for word. So it's in The Guardian. I'll link the article in the description below. Growing up in my predominantly white town, I was often asked to speak Indian, which besides being an ignorant request, was honestly a hard one with which to comply. I shield away from any marker of my otherness, especially something as obvious as language. In college, one of my parents called me late at night when I was with a close friend. In my hazy, sleepy state, I instinctively answered in Marathi, a language spoken in the Indian state of Maharashtra. Yet I had never spoken Marathi in her presence before. Marathi is a symbol of security to me, my mother tongue and the language I use with those closest to me. To let someone into that blanket of security was a big moment, and it was gratifying to not have to compartmentalize my identity with her after that. I think that's really interesting, and if you have also similar experiences, I'd love to hear about them in the comment section below, and I'll definitely reply to them. Let's have a conversation in the comment section below to share your experiences and whether you think code switching links to kind of losing your identity. I think overall, from what I've read, code switching can be a good thing, and if you have good intent, then you should continue code switching. If it helps you when you're teaching students, I'm not going to sit here tell you and tell you what to do about your language choices in life. But I just want you to think about a few questions. How do your language choices link in with your identity? And think about how your language choice match the group which you seek to join. And how do our names connect to our sense of self? Answer that and you'll start to understand how language reflects who you are and where you come from. I hope that video has been educational and prompted you to think about your own identities. So I wanted to leave you with one last message, and that's to love your identity. And I'll see you in next week's video on Thursday and Sunday at 3 PM London time. Until next time guys, cheerio!